This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm your host, Clint Smith. Today we're going to be talking about football. That's right, Rider football once again. Joining me today is head football coach Steve Roberts and the all-time leading punt returner for SAU, Fred Perry. Thank you all and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Coach, what would you give the success? How would you rate the success of the team this year?
Well, I think the credit has to go to the players. Number one, they're the ones who get it done on the football field. They've had several opportunities this year to let their character shine through, and they've came through in very stressful situations and made big plays. And I think that when you try to pin where our success has come from, it's come from the players, and they've done a remarkable job. Many of the players that we have are the same players we've been playing with for the last 2 years, and they've grown up from freshmen and sophomores to sophomores and juniors, and have really played well, and they deserve being champions because of the hard work and the effort that they've put into the last couple of years.
And not only this year, you had a small number of seniors. Your returning letters will be in higher numbers than they were this year. How's that going to affect next year's team?
Well, I think that'll help next year's football team. We're going to miss the leadership and the play of several key seniors along with Fred Perry here. They have played extremely well. But we only have 5 senior starters, so that does point that we have a young football team, and if things work out right in the off season and in the classroom, then we ought to have a good football team coming back next year as well.
Okay. Fred, what do you contribute the success for the defense this year?
Well, I feel like the defense has played well, and I just be there to pick the team up and make big plays, talk to the team when we're down. And, out there, it's just we're on our own.
Do you feel that having such a high ranking in the Gulf South Conference this year helped y'all's defensive strategy or helped y'all's unit as a whole?
Not really. I feel that, we did that on our own by working hard on the football field. And, last year by keeping everybody eligible and also working in the weight room.
Okay. Coach, this year, the first game you lost to UCA. Did that dampen the spirits of the team, or was it more of a wake-up call to let them know, hey, we got another 11 games to go?
Well, that was our third ball game. And we had beaten East Central and North Alabama before playing them, and it was we were coming off a real emotional and a great victory over North Alabama, who's a national power on the NCAA level, and that was a real big win for our program. And we just didn't approach the UCA game with the same type of approach that we took towards those first 2 ball games. I think we went into that football game not prepared, especially emotionally, to play. I think we were physically and mentally prepared. We didn't focus very well, and we turned the football over a couple of times, which was uncharacteristic of our team at that time, and we gave up a couple of big plays defensively, which we hadn't done and haven't done very much since then. So I think that was a turning point for our football team. We sort of pinned a phrase after that game that if we play like we can, we'll win. If not, then we're not going to have an opportunity to win against the competition that we face. And I think the UCA game did really drive home that point to us.
Okay. Fred, everyone said this year in the preseasons that you guys would be tough. All the players were, we're going to be tough this year. We're going to surprise everybody. What was the difference this year from last year?
Well, this year, when we first got the ranking, everybody had picked Delta State to be the #1 team, and we wanted to prove to everybody that we should be #1. And last year's team, they knew that we was coming off probation, and we really couldn't win. And this year's team, we stressed it a whole lot that we can win everything, and we just went out and did it.
Okay, Coach, this is the first year that SAU has been ranked in nationally. First year they've been nationally ranked in NCAA Division II, and it's also the first year that they were eligible. Just your comments on that.
Well, like Fred said, the past 2 years moving up from NAIA to NCAA Division II, you have 2 probationary years, which you have to meet the standards of the NCAA Division II. And this was our first year we were eligible for the playoffs, our first year that we were eligible to be ranked in Division II football. And I think, like Fred said, trying to make a statement early was important to this football team. We've been very competitive the last 2 years. We just couldn't come up with the key stop or the big play to help us win some of the key football games. I think winning our last 2 football games last year against Mississippi College and Henderson helped us attitude-wise and confidence-wise coming into this year. There was no other team that worked as hard as we did last spring. Our coaches did a tremendous job recruiting, and our players did a great job once the recruits got on campus, showing them that this was the place for them, and they played a pivotal role in our season this year. And through our county fairs and our off-season workouts and our 5 a.m. workouts in the morning, our players worked extremely hard. So they deserve the success that they had this year. Being ranked for the first time is a privilege. It proves that we're known on a national level, and we're deserving of that ranking, going 9-1. And we're pleased to end up the season as a top-ranked team, as a top 10 ranked team in the country.
Okay. It is also leaked out to other media that the team has the utmost respect for you and your coaching staff, and that has been related to the lack of profanity used. How do you feel towards coaches who are vulgar to their players?
Well, I'm not going to speak about other coaches, but I'll speak about our situation here. We don't cuss our players, and we don't touch our players in a manner that is considered negative. I think that there are definitely alternative ways to get your message across to a young man, to get them pumped up or get them fired up or get them more in tune to their job without having to use profanity. Our coaches have done an excellent job that year living the lifestyle that they want to live, and that's to live a lifestyle that glorifies God and helps us become successful, because I feel like God wants us to be successful on the football field. In no means am I saying that we're not intense. Fred will attest to that. We're probably as intense as any coaching staff in the country in practice and in the football games, trying to get our players to play to the level that they're capable of. But I do believe that you can do that without profanity and without belittling the players. We get on them, but we get on them as a player, not as a person. And that's one of the things that we addressed in our very first meeting. You're going to be criticized, and you've got to understand to accept criticism as a player, as an outside linebacker in Fred's case, or as a center in Jay Stoker's case, or whoever else it is. You've got to accept that criticism and build off of that. That is in no means an attack on who you are as a person. You just have to get better as a player if we're going to win a championship. And our players responded extremely well to that this year. And again, I think you can do that without profanity and without belittling a young man's character.
Fred, how has the coaching staff helped you morally and spiritually on the field and off the field?
Mostly off the field. I feel like all the coaches are real close to me. They help me. Like if I have a problem or anything, I just go to Coach Roberts and tell him the problem, or any of the coaches, and they take care of that. And on the field, it's like Coach he'd tell me to do something, I go out and do it, and I just look over at the sideline at him, and he'd just give me a little smile, and I know I did well then.
Almost every headline this year in the papers had the title "SAU upsets somebody." Knowing that you had a good team this year, did it bother you that your staff did not receive the media attention, or you wasn't given the respect that you thought you should be by the media?
Well, I think respect is earned, and we don't want the type of respect that the media might place on our program, or that people in our community might place on our program. We want to earn it on the football field. And in the past 2 years, we've been 4-6 each year. Have not finished in the top half of the GSC over the last 2 years. So, there was really no reason for people to give us that respect. And I think early in the season we made a statement by beating North Alabama, and then coming back and beating Delta State, who was the preseason team picked to be #1 in our conference. I think that gave our kids a lot of confidence, and I think it helped us earn a little bit of respect. But you know, we really can't control how other people approach us, and we can't control what they think about us. The thing that we can control is how we perform, how we carry ourselves, and the type of program that we run. And I think the respect and all the things from the outside will take care of itself.
Fred, being such a highly ranked defensive unit, what type of pressure was there for you guys to remain on top? Everyone was gunning for you basically on their offensive. How did you guys decide to overcome that?
First of all, I mean, we set our goal, and our goal was reached. I mean, no one scored on us within the first quarter of the game. I mean, it's just we set goals, we go out and achieve our goals. Just like our goal was to win the conference, and we went out and achieved that. And our goal is to win the national championship, and hopefully we can achieve that goal.
Fred's going to be a little modest in that as well, I think, but our goals are set. You know, we wanted to finish first in the conference in every defensive category, and we did that. We were first in rushing defense, and scoring defense, and passing defense, and in total defense. And you know, you've got to give credit to the players. I think our coaches did a good job of explaining the game plans to them, getting them in the right schemes, but I also think there are coaches all over the country that are good coaches that can get their players in the right spot, and it's up to the athletes to go out and execute those things. And Fred, along with his defensive teammates, did that in a tremendous way this year. Not that they didn't make mistakes, but they played with such a great amount of effort that when somebody did make a mistake, there was somebody there to cover him. And I think that was a definite positive for our football team, and we were able to reach our goals and finish first in every category. And a lot of the credit goes to Fred, to Anthony Hullaby, who's a senior, to Toby Blanchard, who's a senior along our defensive front, and several other young players who really stepped their game up this year.
Your goals, per se, were first to win the game of the week, then the next game of the week, and then once it came down to it, it was to win the Gulf South Conference. Now, how do you feel about winning the national championship, possibly?
Well, we'll have to approach it exactly the same way we did during the season. We've got to play one game at a time. And really what it amounts to is we have a new season. Unfortunately, during the playoffs, your season can be over in one football game, unlike during the regular season. But you know, we won't know who we play from week to week if we win. We've got to figure out a game plan in a hurry. So the stress level is a little bit different on a national level than it is on a conference level. For our coaching staff, for our kids, it's basically the same. They just got to go out and play as hard as they can and play hard for 60 minutes and make fewer mistakes than their opponents, and then good things will happen for the Riders.
Coach, some of the wins that the Riders came away with this year were against nationally ranked teams. And after putting together a really good season, most fans thought that the UAM game would be a cakewalk. But the Boll Weevils actually gave the Riders a run for their money, and the Riders pulled it off with about 11 seconds left in the game. How do you feel about that?
Well, anytime we play Arkansas Monticello, it's going to be a tough game, especially over there at their place. They were winless on the season when we went over there. I don't think our team took their team lightly at all. I think what happened, we had a very emotional win the week before against Valdosta, and we didn't play with a lot of emotion in that ball game, but we played with a lot of effort, and we played physically, we played hard, and mentally. We didn't make a lot of mistakes mentally. I think the game was turned early in the first quarter. We had 2 chances to score, and we scored on our first chance. The next opportunity we went down, we fumbled the football inside their 5-yard line. The next time we went down there, we had a touchdown pass dropped, and then we had a field goal blocked. So the game really could have got out of hand early. It had been 21 to 28 to nothing, but it didn't turn out that way, and we were struggling to win a football game there at the end. That game was a lot like this entire season. When things became stressful, when things got tight, we had young men step up and make plays. In that particular game, it was Adam Pendergrass and Drew Cohn, and then of course our defense that game shut them out. Their last 5 series on their offensive side, they had negative yardage during their last 5 series. So our defense really went out in that fourth quarter and made sure that if our offense was able to put up some points, that we could win the football game.
Fred, the Bow Eagles were pretty banged up going into the game, and so they ran most of a run and shoot type offense. What type of problems did that pose against the Rider defense?
Well, I mean, we never played against nobody that don't have any running backs. And, you know, they ran 5 wide, so really we had to run like nickel the whole game, and it put me at the middle linebacker and our keys on the quarterback. And the nickel backers, you know, we have a blitz on, then I just stay in the middle, and if he comes out, Coach always said, well, Coach told me to go get him. And, you know, that game, he really just stayed in the pocket most of the game. But when he did come out, all the Mule Riders was there to get him.
Okay. The Henderson game, do or die for the season. It was if you win, you're in. If you lose, you're staying at home. Your comments on that?
Well, the thing I'm happy about is that we didn't lose the football game because there are 145 teams on that Sunday that took up equipment. And we were one of the 16 teams that had an opportunity to keep our equipment in the lockers and keep our young men on the football field playing. That was a very stressful situation for us as coaches, for the players. I think we went out the first half and we played well, but we played very tight. I think everybody's concern was, I'm not going to be the one that gets us beat. You know, I'm real concerned if I've got quarterback on the option, I'm going to be real concerned just about getting quarterback. Or if I've got to throw this football at that spot, I'm going to make sure I throw it at that spot. And we didn't play relaxed during the first half. I thought about doing a dance in our pregame speech just to loosen our kids up, but I figured they'd laugh just a little bit, so I'll save the dance for after the game. But I just thought we played a little bit tight in the first half. We came in, we didn't have a big rah-rah session at halftime. We came in and made our adjustments, tried to settle our young men down a little bit, and they went out in the second half and played outstanding. Defensively, we completely shut them down in the second half. Offensively, we went out and put some points on the board. Tim Barrington provided us with a great spark. And again, that's just another show as another example of during the season how when we really needed it, somebody was going to step their game up to a different level. And our offensive line and our running backs and our quarterback just did an excellent job during that ball game, especially in the fourth quarter, winning that football game for us. And defensively, there late in the game, we had a mishap on a punt return team, and we were able to go out and shut them down, and our defense did an excellent job at that. And I really felt like at that time their character would come through, and they'd make the big plays that helped us win the conference championship.
Okay. Fred, even though the Riders were down going into the fourth quarter, players started raising their hands going, you know, fourth quarter. Explain to me and then the viewers how this actually raises y'all's intensity level.
Okay, when we come down to the fourth quarter, everybody raises their hand. And what we like to do is, stress to everybody that's fourth quarter, we got to pick it up, go. It's just, we got to pick everything up. I mean, offense, defense-wise, even if we're down, we got to pick it up. We got to find a way to win. If fourth quarter comes, we up, then we also got to find a way to keep it that way. And, I mean, it's just like when fourth quarter comes, then everybody's, hype, ready, rah-rah, ready, to play some more. And, really, with me, I hate to see the fourth quarter come because, I like to hit, and I'm pretty sure the defense like to hit. And, I mean, when offense fumbles the ball or anything like that, I mean, we just go out, do what we got to do. And what we got to do, we feel we got to do is get the ball back for the offense so they can go down the score. And, God has a way for that to happen. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't.
Coach mentioned that it was a very stressful situation going into the fourth quarter. How did that bring out y'all's defensive talents?
Well, in the fourth quarter, on my point of view, when I dropped the punt, I thought I was the one to, I thought we was going to lose from that point. But defense, came out, they picked me up, so I mean, it's just, when we down, we got to pick each other up. And we had to find a way to win that game. And we found a way, and God blessed us with finding that way.
Okay. Coach, throughout the year, the Riders have changed quarterbacks numerous times during each game. Each quarterback, like you told me before, brings a new aspect toward the game. Even the freshman Barrington, you'd mentioned, made some outstanding plays. Will the Riders continue to do this in the playoffs?
Oh, of course. All three of our quarterbacks prepare each week as if they're the starter. And they've done an outstanding job. We don't know how people are going to fence us because we run an offense that's different than a lot of other people's until we get into the first quarter. And we can see that if they're taking away a particular aspect, maybe a different quarterback may be better suited to take advantage of what the defense gives us. 2 weeks ago against Northeast Oklahoma, they were giving us a quarterback on the option attack. And our best running back at quarterback is Jamie Yates. And Jamie went into that ball game, carried for 38 times for 121 yards and just did an outstanding job. And our other quarterbacks could have done that, but we were able to maximize what the defense gives us by putting a quarterback whose strength matches that opening for us. And that was proven again last week in Tim Barrington's job coming in the fourth quarter. He just energized our offense. It wasn't that he did anything that was absolutely special, although he made some outstanding plays. He brought energy out there to our offense, brought a little different look, and they have to defend them a little bit differently. So both of those two young guys, and of course Adam Pendergrass, who was on the show with us last time, Adam brings a wealth of experience. If people are shifting and moving around, he can get us in the right spot. He's a character guy on the football field, a true leader out there for our football team, and all three of those guys do a tremendous job. Right now, I'd like to say, that Coach Bland, John Bland, who's our offensive coordinator, he coaches the quarterbacks. He's a lucky human being to have the characters that he has to coach. Plus, he does an outstanding job. There are a lot of schools, if you have three outstanding quarterbacks, you've got a quarterback controversy. We don't have a quarterback controversy. We've got three people who care about the Riders more than they do themselves, and I think that that's something that helps us become successful on the football field.
Okay. Fred, your first playoff game that since college you've ever been in is against Albany State in Georgia. Looking at their 2-deep chart, some of the players are basically the size of Andre the Giant. I was wondering, how are you guys preparing to tackle these 7-foot players?
Well, we just gotta go out, base them up, play like we know how to play, and hopefully with their size, we can beat them with our quickness, and we're able to play like we normally play. We're not gonna let their size affect our play.
Okay, Coach, have you ever seen players of this size before?
I've never seen an entire football team the size of their football team. When your defensive line, the smallest guy on your defensive line is 6'4", 290. You've got a pretty good sized defensive line. The biggest guy they have 6'8", 340 pounds on their defensive line. Their offensive line is just the same. Fred will have an opportunity to line up against a tight end when we're in a defense that we call tight eagle. That's 6'4", 280 pounds.
Oh, gosh.
He's a big man. The tackle beside him 6'7", 350. So we've got to play low to the ground, and we've got to make sure that we get off blocks, because if we allow them to get on us, they'll have an opportunity to pummel us. And we just got to use our quickness, and that's what we've done all year. Everybody we play against offensive line-wise has been bigger than us, although not quite as big as what we'll see this week. But they have been bigger than we've been able to use our quickness and getting off blocks and making plays on running backs and quarterbacks and wide receivers.
Okay. Mental conditioning. You're going to condition these guys all week, fundamentals, and that's how you're going to beat these guys off their blocks and get the tackles. What do you do to mentally prepare these guys to take on a team like Albany?
Well, each week we talk about preparing in three different ways. We talk about preparing physically, we talk about preparing mentally, and we talk about preparing emotionally. And we take care of the physical part as coaches as far as their conditioning, their stamina is concerned. They have to make sure that they take care of it as far as the effort that they put into that. Mentally, we have meetings every day for every position at 3 o'clock. And we watch film, we prepare. I could ask Fred questions right now, if they get in a certain backfield, what do you expect? And he'll be able to tell me whether they're going to run the blast out of this particular backfield or they're going to run the veer out of this particular backfield. So mentally, a thinking game. Our players do a great job of paying attention during the meetings and learning what to expect during the ball game. Probably the most critical type of preparation is emotional preparation, and that's something that we have very little control over because a young man is going to prepare himself to play if he's got the character that it takes to win a championship. And anything that we can do as coaches to pep them up or to rah-rah is going to get knocked out of them early in the first quarter. And if they don't prepare themselves from the outside in or from the inside out, then we can very, very seldom get them ready to play. I think one of the things that really points to that is something we talked about early in the season. When your adrenaline's gone, let your character shine through. And adrenaline doesn't last. You know, it leaves your body, but your character can come through for you in a crucial situation.
Fred, going into this game with Albany State, guys are totally, you know, physically you're outnumbered. How do you feel that the Rider defense will attack the situation? Do you feel that they will wait to feel out their offense, or will they go all out at them?
I believe we'll go all out at them from the start to the finish. I believe that. I honestly believe that. I mean, because our defense that we have this year, I mean, we all like to hit, we all like to run to the ball. I mean, it's just, if one person ain't around the ball, I mean, it's like we got to tell him, that person, to come, you know, run to the ball. But, you know, I think we'll go all out from the start to the finish.
I'll go ahead and say it. You're not afraid. Coach, air versus ground attack versus Albany State. What are the Riders going to do?
Well, they're going to try to run the football straight down our throats, and you know, we're going to try to play a 9-man front. Defensively, we're going to bring our strong safety and our free safety up in and try to shut off their running game. Defensively, they're number 1 in the nation, so our offense has their work cut out for them, and we'll mix in the play action pass and some drop back in our option offense. I think our offense is going to have one advantage going into the football game, in that Albany has not seen a wishbone this year. And it's a very tough offense to prepare for in a week. So we're going to try to spread those big old giants out and get after their legs quite a bit. One thing you know about big people, coming from experience from our big people, they don't like to be hit low. And we're going to try to get after them down around their legs and try to move them off the football that way and give ourselves a lane to run the football in.
Okay. After looking at their tapes this week, what does Albany State do different than teams you've seen this year?
Well, just their size alone, you know, presents a huge challenge for us. But defensively, they don't run a whole lot of different schemes than what we've seen. They're going to run base schemes, which our offense has seen quite a bit, in a tight eagle and a split eagle defense with basically a quarters coverage, which is what we run defensively. So our offense will be familiar with their schemes. So we won't see a whole lot of things different. The size factor and the speed factor will be different in this ball game on both sides of the ball.
Okay. Fred, after watching tapes or in film, what is going to be your key on the defensive side of the ball? What will you key on the most?
First of all, the tight end. I mean, like Coach said, he's a big guy. He's 280, but I believe I can take. I mean, I believe I can handle him, and hopefully they'll run to my side a lot because they like to run to the strong side, and that's what I've been waiting on for a while now.
Do you feel that your secondary is better than theirs in the sense of if you need help, your secondary players will come up, your corners and safeties will come on up?
No doubt. I mean, you got Chase. He loves to hit. He just loves to come up. I mean, then you got Troy Mumphrey, Eddie Bradden. I mean, just all of them. All those guys. I mean, you out there, like when we're warming up, they over there just getting hyped. You know, I mean, I'm not worried about the secondary coming up on them because I know they'll be there. They'll have my help. Also, the defensive line. You know, so it's going to be a game. So.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you and Fred coming on our show today. And one last thing I would like to say is that you guys have totally surprised everyone this year. Y'all have played with tremendous character, and I'd like to congratulate y'all on y'all's play this year.
Thank you very much.
And this has been the SAU Report. I'm your host, Clint Smith, and alongside with Coach Roberts and Fred Perry. Thank you for watching.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.